everyone, F Train Productions here, and welcome to another episode of Transit Talk. This will be a two-part episode, which will go in detail of the worst and the best bus routes in Manhattan. Today we're getting the bad one out first, with the 10 worst bus routes in Manhattan. I compiled the data using Excel to get the numbers, and I originally got my data from the Bus Turnaround Campaign's website. They put an in-depth analysis of every single bus route in the city. So that's where I got my sources from, and I will leave a link in the description if you want to check it out yourself. And please note, these are 2019 numbers, so pre-pandemic numbers, since that's the latest normal year we've had. Hopefully that will change this year, but those are the numbers I will be using. And also a quick note regarding the data. The way I sorted it on Excel is that I took the overall letter grade that the Bus Turnaround Campaign assigned to the route. Then I went with the on-time performance, then the reliability, which is like the occurrence of buses being bunched. It's like a ratio, like 1 out of every 11, 1 out of every 8, and then average speed. But the way I'm going to say it in the video is I'm going to start with average speed, reliability, then on-time performance. But I'm just letting you know the way I sorted it was the reverse of what I'm going to be stating in the video. So with that quick note aside, we're going to go over to number 10. And at number 10, we have the M4. The M4 is a route that runs between 32nd Street and 5th Avenue up to Washington Heights at the Cloisters via 5th Avenue, Madison Avenue, and Fort Washington. This route sees an average speed of 4.8 miles an hour, with 1 out of every 8 buses being bunched and an on-time performance of 54%. The Bus Turnaround Campaign, as a result, gave this route an F grade, and this route sees 15,189 riders per day. Well, this is 2019 numbers. Number 9, the M102. The M102 is a route that runs near the 148th Street 3 train stop and runs down to the East Village via 3rd Avenue and Lexington Avenue, and also via Lenox Avenue and 116th Street. The average speed for this route is 4.4 miles an hour, with 1 out of every 17 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 52%, giving this route an F rating. This route sees 12,131 riders per day. Number 8, the M100. The M100 is a route that currently runs between Inwood 220th Street and 2nd Avenue 127th Street via Broadway, Amsterdam Avenue, and 125th Streets. This is going to change with the 125th Street portion being replaced with the M125 later this year with the Bronx Bus Network redesign. Honestly, I don't know why they messed with the M100 when it's a Bronx Bus Network redesign, but I digress. The average speed for this route is 4.9 miles an hour, with 1 out of every 10 buses bunched, and an on-time performance of 52%, which gives this route an F rating. This route sees 13,186 riders per day. Unlucky number 7, the M3. The M3 is a route that runs between Fort George and the East Village via 5th Avenue. This route sees an average speed of 4.7 miles an hour with 1 out of every 12 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 51%. This gives this route an F rating, and this route sees 12,516 riders a day. At number 6, we have the M1. The M1 is very similar to the M102 in that the end terminals are the same, except when the M1 decides to go to Grand Street. Anyways, this route runs between Harlem and either the East Village or Soho, and this has an average speed of 4.8 miles an hour with 1 out of every 10 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 49%, giving this route an F rating. This route in 2019 saw 9,322 riders per day. Number 5, the M11. The M11 is a route that runs between Riverbank Park and the West Village via 9th and 10th Avenues. The average speed is 4.6 miles an hour, with 1 out of every 8 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 49%, giving this route an F rating. This route in 2019 saw 9,562 riders a day. Number 4, the M2. Oh wow, we have the whole Fifth Avenue corridor on this. Yikes! This route runs between Washington Heights and the East Village via 5th Avenue and Madison Avenue. And again, we actually have the whole 5th and Madison corridor on this list. Yikes! The average speed for this route is 5.5 miles an hour with 1 out of every 12 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 48%. The overall grade for this route is an F, and this route sees 8,446 riders a day. Number 3, the M55. Okay, this one's a shame because this is one of my favorite routes in Manhattan. Yeah, it's kind of a shame to see it on this list. This route runs between 44th Street and 6th Avenue and South Ferry. This route sees an average speed of 4.6 miles an hour with 1 out of every 11 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 45%, giving this route an F rating. This route sees 1,867 riders a day. Number 2, the M20. The M20 is a route that runs between Lincoln Center and South Ferry via 8th Avenue. Honestly, just walk a block over and take the 1 train if you need to go to South Ferry. Do not take this bus. The average speed is 4.7 miles an hour with 1 out of every 44 buses bunched and an on-time performance of 43%. This gives an overall grade of an F. This route sees 2,084 riders a day. Before we get to number 1, please hit that like and subscribe button if you are enjoying our content, and don't forget to hit the little bell so you don't miss out on our future videos. Also, please check out our Discord server. The server is always growing and we're going to start events pretty soon, so check it out. Anyways, on to number 1. And the worst of the worst, the M7. The M7 is a route that runs between Harlem and 7th Avenue 14th Street. This route sees an average speed of 4.5 miles an hour with 1 out of every 10 buses bunched, and an on-time performance of 42%, which is the lowest in the whole borough. This gives the route an overall grade of an F, and in 2019 this route saw 10,806 riders a day. So those were the 10 worst bus routes in Manhattan. Please stay tuned when we talk about the 10 best bus routes in Manhattan. That's going to be coming out tomorrow right after this video. Thank you all for watching and see you next time.